Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the Entertainment Headquarters, and welcome back to Episodic Adventures, my segment on the channel where I do, pick a show between 6 to 10 episodes, and then I review 2 episodes a week. And the chosen show to start off this segment was none other than Batman the Caped Crusader. And we're now up to episodes 7 and 8. And so far, the show for me has been a mixed bag of some really fun episodes and some episodes that I thought were good but didn't grab us the way previous episodes have, or episodes within Batman the Animated Series. So let's crack on and talk about episode number 7, which is called Moving Target. Now, this episode features a very unique villain. I've never heard of this villain before, and the villain is Onomatopoeia. So, Onomatopoeia is a unique villain because he's named after a word that describes basically words that are written just like the sound they make. That is the reasoning, and that is what onomatopoeia actually stands for. So, onomatopoeia, I believe. Onomatopoeia, just double checking I said it right, is a unique concept, and the villain is also a unique villain, but I still don't really get it when it comes to Batman or this particular episode. But here ho, let's talk about onomatopoeia and moving target. So here is the concept behind moving target. Jim Gordon fears that someone put a bounty on his head after assassins such as Floyd Lawton and Onomatopoeia come to Gotham, and the former almost succeeds at killing him. He reluctantly agrees to be escorted to a safe house at Wayne Gardens, but Onomatopoeia's group finds them. Meanwhile, Batman learns that the hit was placed by a Blackgate Penitentiary inmate named Muller and follows Jim's detail. So, this episode for me, what I liked about this one is the fact that it's your basic, it's not like features a well-known villain, and it doesn't have a lot of, explosions, or, it's not like what you expect from some of the more, adventure type Batman episodes from the original series or the earlier episodes of this show. It's a well-written, well put together, basically detective crime story. It's like what I've always said when I describe this show and Batman, the animated series. These episodes are either a mixture of your really over the top, great put together superhero type stories with, action and explosions and, all of the superhero-ness, or they are well written, character driven detective stories. And this is one of those episodes that's like a crime whodunit mystery. So the key players in this, of course, are Jim Gordon, Barbara Gordon, Detective Montoya, Batman, and of course, Onomatopoeia is the villain of this story. So it starts off, at the courthouse where, Barbara Gordon is like an attorney. She's just freed a man who has been wrongfully convicted. Her dad, however, Jim Gordon, believes that the person who has been convicted deserves to have had been put in prison. And, they have kind of this heated discussion that, she can't always save people, and that not everybody who appears innocent seems to be innocent. And, you know, even if a person has committed a crime, even though she believes some of the punishments put upon them aren't fitting of the crime that they've done, Jim Gordon believes no matter what, they need to be punished and, you know, be brought to justice by the law. And they have this heated discussion as they leave the courthouse. Jim Gordon is nearly assassinated by some, you know, criminal. And as, you know, the episode progresses, we then discover that there's more than one person assassinating him. According to Detective Bullock, who obviously is a dirty cop, he finds out through one of his snitches that somebody from Blackgate Prison has placed a bounty on his head. And so he gets escorted, and they go to find a safe house for him. In the meantime, Onomatopoeia, you know, arrives in Gotham with his group of, you know, assassins or his group of henchmen, and they go on the hunt for Gordon. At the meantime, Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, is in the middle of, you know, looking into the person who potentially could have put the hit on Gordon's head. And so it's a fun episode for, like, you know, the classic detective story. I like, you know, how you had the more interaction and, you know, this kind of back and forth between Barbara Gordon and Jim Gordon. I liked how it shows, like, that father and daughter relationship and how they both have a difference of opinion on what they think's right and wrong. It really was a fun episode. No one was right, but no one was wrong either. And then, of course, the introduction of this villain, Onomatopoeia, was an interesting concept. I still, you know, didn't understand the meaning behind his name and how, like, he personally fits into this episode. And if, you know, he's clearly just an assassin, a high up assassin with these henchmen that comes to town that's been approached and hired by, of course, this villainous character. When all said and done, though, there is a bit of a reveal at the end, that, you know, a bit of a twist on who actually was the target from the assassin's attempt. And it really has an effect on a character who, you know, believed that they were doing everything the right way. And even if they're doing it the right way, not everyone's going to be truly appreciative of what they've done. And, you know, you have a character called Jim Corrigan, who is, you know, he's alongside Detective Montoya, who you think's going to turn out to be, you know, he's alongside Detective Montoya. I guess it's her partner, who's trying to protect Jim Gordon, who's trying to stop the villains, and he comes across as a really good cop. And there's a twist with him at the end of this episode as well. But all in all, this, you know, episode was a fun episode because I liked how it was like a true detective story. And, you know, the reveal at the end of, you know, the person who Barbara Gordon got like a later sentence for. She got this later sentence for this particular individual. And, you know, everyone believes that Jim Gordon is the target, but in turn, it's actually Barbara Gordon who is the target of the assassination attempt, because she did everything in her willpower to help this individual who's in prison. And, you know, when it's revealed and she actually goes to visit him in prison, you know, like I see at the beginning of this episode, you have Jim Gordon and her have this heated debate on what's right and what's wrong and what's fair punishment for the crimes that a person is put under. When she goes to the prison and she has a conversation with this convict and says, you know, I did everything in my power to get you the best sentence and to get you, you know, the best help I could. he's just not appreciative of her, and he just was not happy the fact that he still had to serve time, even though the sentence he was probably going to have would have been a stronger sentence. And he says, I should not be in prison. I don't deserve this. And she turns and she goes, well, in actual fact, I think you do. So I don't know if that's going to have ramifications for her character in season 2, or if it's changed how she sees her career later in, the series as it progresses. But this was a fun episode. I liked how it went back to the true detective roots. In it, all of the cast did a fantastic job. And, like I say, the chemistry in this and my favourite characters in this is between Batman and Detective Montoya. They're my favourite characters in this so far. But this was a very strong episode for Jim Gordon and Barbara Gordon, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So let's move on to episode 8, which is another interesting episode by the name of Nocturne. Now, Nocturne was a fun episode, and it was also a setup episode, because it's an episode that features Harvey Dent again. It's an episode that really puts him, in an awkward position. But let's talk about it. Amidst a fundraiser carnival for Dent's campaign, multiple orphans are reported missing. Batman soon finds the culprit, Natalia Knight, the younger sister of inventor Anton Knight, who suffers from a mysterious ailment that can only be saved by draining energy from people, which grants her enhanced strength. After falling out with and attacking Anton for his perceived controlling behavior, Natalia continues her attacks until she is intercepted by Batman. So this was just one of those fun episodes. You have, introduced to this character, Natalia Knight, who basically has the ability, I'm assuming, sucking the life force and energy from orphaned children, which gives her this, new, super strength, and I guess recharges her energy because she has this ailment. And our brother Anton is trying to stop the disease and find a cure, and he's a part of this carnival and using it as his kind of, he's using it as a way to hide from the real world, to do, I guess, his research, and to, keep her at bay, and to hide the fact she has this unique ability. But as this progresses, she becomes a very selfish girl. It becomes, I guess, like an addiction to her, to have, to be able to drain the life force from young orphans. And also, you have Bruce Wayne who comes in, who's there to support Harvey Dent, who believes in his, his campaign, who believes in his policies and what he stands for. And obviously he gets involved in this thanks to being at the carnival and seeing these children go missing. And he gets heavily involved in that. The Harvey Dent your side plot really is laying the foundations for the final 2 episodes. So you have Rupert Thorne, who, was featured in the very first episode with the Penguin, who's now trying to monopolize the crime within Gotham. He then goes with a very hefty bribe with Harvey Dent, who, reluctantly accepts the bribe due to, I guess, Rupert Thorne known a little bit about Harvey's past and things like this. And so, it's very similar to how Rupert Thorne was involved in Harvey Dent within the Batman the Animated Series. So as the episode progresses, and then Batman becomes Bruce Wayne, and he, goes to the carnival, and then he finds Natalia Knight, who's trying to suck the life force out of innocent orphans. He then goes after her and is able to, subdue her. But there is this moment with her where she basically loses control of herself, because during, this confrontation in this argument with her and Anton, she uses her strength against him and accidentally knocks him into the wall, which knocks a large cupboard over the top of him, and Batman finds him and he has died. So she's overcome with grief and kind of goes into this angry, uncontrollable rage. But luckily, Batman is able to subdue her. When it comes to the last part of this episode, it is the episode where we see what happens to Harvey Dent. So Harvey Dent basically, he, takes this bribe, but then, the bribe is not only to help him with his campaign, but he is also a district, he is an attorney, and he wants to, he's in the middle of this hefty court case as well. And the bribe isn't only to help him with his campaign, it's also a bribe because Harvey Dent is representing, a victim of somebody who has been, under a crime via somebody in Rupert Thorne's camp. And at the last end of the episode, just when you think Harvey Dent is gonna, just cave in and give in to what, Rupert Thorne wants, which is to, throw this case out and to, not go ahead to press charges, suddenly Harvey Dent changes his mind and he decides to go ahead with the charges and to keep the case alive. And the final moment of this episode is that of Harvey Dent in the bathroom with one of Rupert Thorne's henchmen comes in with a bottle of acid, and as you can imagine, throws it into Harvey Dent's face, which the last episode, the screen goes black and you hear the scream of Harvey Dent, and we know where that goes next. But this episode was a fun little spooky kind of episode. It reminds me of some of the, the lesser known episodes of Batman the Animated Series, especially with the baby doll episodes with that baby doll character. And you also got a glimpse of Killer Croc in this, or a character that you think is probably going to become Killer Croc. But the voice work in this was fantastic. The story was, I think it was a mixture of a filler episode in an episode to fill the gaps towards the last two episodes with Harvey Dent as Two-Face. The voice cast in this was brilliant. I really enjoyed the voice cast in this as well. The voice casting in this show so far has been really well done. The voice, if I can find out who voiced Natalia Knight, let's have a look if I can find the voice actress. So it was McKenna Grace is the voice of Natalia Knight, who's known as Nocturna as well. So Nocturna must be a character that I personally haven't heard of in the world of Batman. But or Catwoman, I believe she potentially could have made her debut in. But Natalia Knight Nocturna, another interesting character. The fact that Bruce Timm turned round and said that the reason he gender switched the Penguin is because there was not enough interesting female villains. Well, he's just introduced us to Natalia Knight, who becomes a character known as Nocturna. You've also got Poison Ivy that has yet to make a debut, who will maybe come into the second season. You've got Natalia Al Ghul, the daughter, Talia Al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's Al Ghul. You've got, obviously, Catwoman still has time to progress. You've got a really badass Harlequin in this. You've also got a character that they introduced in the original Batman, that animated series, Red Claw, who appeared in 2 episodes, who was a Russian terrorist. It would have been nice for them to reinvent her and bring her back. She was voiced in the original by Kate Mulgrew, who played Captain Catherine Janeway in Star Trek Voyager as Captain Janeway. So, there has been opportunities to bring in other female characters. Like I said originally, if you go back to what I said in the first Episodic Adventures, when I talked about, episodes 1 and 2, I thought it was a lazy idea. I didn't think it was creative. I just thought it was lazy creativeness, but that's just me. If I had to, rank the 2 episodes, I would rank probably, Moving Target a 6 out of 10, and I would rank this one, just because I had a strong ending, 7 out of 10. But these, 2 episodes are another 2 episodes that are a mixed bag. But I really enjoyed going back to just good old-fashioned, detectiveness in the first one. And this one felt spooky in a mixture of Halloween-y, as well as, leading towards Two-Face. So that's just my opinion of these 2 episodes. I will put a link in the description below of the other episodes of Episodic Adventures, with episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But we're down to the last 2 episodes, which I'm very much looking forward to reviewing. And I hope you've been enjoying so far Batman Caped Crusader and Episodic Adventures. Until then, I'll catch us all at the next one.